Welcome to Property Focus, where we explore the dynamic world of real estate and design. In today's episode, we'll dive into the fascinating journey of architecture, uncover innovative design solutions, and discuss the future of sustainable building practices. Join us as we sit down with industry leaders, share insights on the latest trends, and showcase remarkable projects making waves in the property sector. Welcome to the show. And welcome, Gurmukh. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Welcome to Property Focus.
Thank you.
Super. Brilliant. Tell us about yourself.
So I'm Gurmukh Panesar. I'm Principal Architect at Grasp Design Limited. I'm also Vice Chair at the Kenya Green Building Society. And we've been doing this for about 13 years now since graduation. So we've been at it for a while.
Brilliant. Tell us about your design philosophy and how you factor this in everything that you do.
Grasp Design Limited, the name originated from the intent to have a whole encompassing studio. So we do architecture, master planning, interiors, and we do a slew of other things as well. Acoustic design, technical feasibilities, sustainability certification, things like that. The name Grasp means to fully comprehend design, so that's where it originated from. And our design philosophy, even if you look at our projects, is trying to kind of find the fine balance between practicality, aesthetic endearment, good kind of exploration in terms of aesthetics, space, and making sure that the spaces flow. So we have a certain dynamism basically within the spaces. There's a fluidity within them. I think that would form our signature. And it ends up happening by intuition or by intent within the firm. You find out most of our projects kind of have that fluidity within them. So I would say that is a good indication or good explanation of what we kind of do and the kind of design direction that we kind of lean towards.
And I'm seeing this even on a granular level. Even here at the boardroom, you've got the acoustics, you've got the door that's in a certain design. So true to the vision and true to the philosophy.
Yeah, it's important. We design a lot of commercial spaces.
Yes.
And as I said, technical performance is critical. It can look good, but if it isn't performing, it isn't serving the needs for the user, then it's failed. So, things like managing noise, managing reverberations, echoes within the spaces. If you're in an open plan setting, for instance, you don't want to hear what your neighbor is saying. And that's one of the main challenges of open plan offices, for instance, when you're designing them. So acoustics is very important for every space. If you're designing something along Waiaki Way, you'll need to have good acoustic insulation. And we actually measure it, so it's not guesswork. We do it professionally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you use to measure?
So we use a class 1 acoustic meter, and that gives us, over a 14-hour period, what kind of sound we're expecting, what frequencies we're expecting it in. And if it's glass that we're putting in on the facade, we'll design that to kind of absorb those certain frequencies. So it's 38 decibels, so on. So I don't want to bore you with the details, but I think it gives you a good idea.
Now, what inspired you as an architect to pursue this career, and has it evolved over time? So
right out of high school, I always was an artist and I always enjoyed art. So I wanted to get into a field that basically married my love of art. And I was also good in physics and maths and stuff like that. So I was a very rational thinker. So I wanted to find something that married the two of those. In terms of inspiration to form the company, we wanted to form a firm basically that was transcendent of just me and would carry on after me. But the values of the firm were rooted in good ethics, good principles, cutting edge technology, whilst integrating culture and promoting local craft. So for me, that symbiosis is very important. And I would believe that's the genesis of Grasp, really.
Brilliant. Now, in terms of cultural influences and history, how does that play a part in your designs?
Okay, so I'm third generation Kenyan. And for me, Kenya is a melting pot of very many different cultures. So we try to kind of put it into our designs, but not in a cliche way. For example, the Microsoft Africa Development Center that we did, we kind of found something that unites all the tribes, and that's weaving. Yeah, some kind of weaving is integrated pun intended, within all the tribes within Kenya. And you'd find, it's all encompassing. So with that, we combine that with technology. So we like pursuing, cutting edge technology and mixing that with culture, and also integrating craftsmen within our projects. So we like having, building capacity for local craftsmen and women, and ensuring that they kind of contribute to the project. So there's capacity building. At the same time, we're doing something new, innovative, creating new spaces, basically. Brilliantly
answered. So in terms of sustainability, how are you factoring this into your projects?
Our tagline is creating sustainably. So it's something we hold quite dearly. We have 2 edge experts in the office and 1 lead AP. Linda is one of our lead AP within the office. She's the first female lead AP in Kenya.
What's an edge expert?
Edge expert is IFC, the World Bank, IFC. They have an edge program. It's called the Edge Buildings, Edge Green Buildings, and it's for certification of buildings to make sure that they're green. So it checks things like energy use, water use, embodied carbon of materials, things like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So you factor them all into your designs?
Yeah, we actually designed the first LEED Platinum project in Africa under LEED 4.0, which is the highest sustainability rating you can get globally. So it is something we hold quite close to our heart, and being vice chair of the KGBS, it's something I do take, personally as well.
Super, super. AI is rampant, technology is just influencing every sector. There's redundancy also because of AI. Are you seeing that in this space? And what are some of the assets of technology? What are some of the drawbacks of technology?
Okay, so I've always embraced technology. My thesis was on digital manufacturing and fabrication. So I've always tried to push the boundaries of what's capable and doable, basically, incorporating culture within it as well, as I've mentioned. So kind of integrating local craft, but with cutting-edge technology. So, for example, for the Microsoft project I'm again referencing, we use parametric design, where it's a parametric software to kind of generate cutting lists. It optimizes material usage. We are dabbling with AI as well. I don't foresee AI replacing architects fully. Reason being, architects are like jugglers. We're juggling 50 different factors at play. And the more experienced you are, the more balls you're juggling, really. So, end of the day, I don't see us being replaced, but it can form a tool set that can be useful to architects in conceptualization. You have the idea in mind, you want to kind of portray to the client, and timelines are short, so you can quickly iterate and see exactly what you want to get. So I think it can be useful workflow.
Very well answered. Now, what are some of the challenges you're seeing in the space?
Okay, I would say the challenges are two-pronged. Number one is the clients basically going to use non-registered professionals. And I would implore anyone developing or doing a house, you're doing your own development, go to the Borax website. There's a list of registered architects there. You can reach out to any of them. They'd be more than happy to guide you through the process. You can reach out to us as well. We can guide you through the process. There's no fee associated with just guiding you through the process and telling you the correct way of doing things. And there is a lot of benefit with that. We've seen, we've come in where projects have been handled by quacks, and we've really saved the client a lot of money in this regard. That's number one. Number two is developers and people who are building to appreciate the use or need for professionals within the industry. There's a client, I met once, and we actually sat down with him, and we could have saved him about 40 million shillings on his project. And this is just outside, very quick sketched out for him. And it just goes to show that professionals are some of the best investments you can make within your project. Yeah.
So people to save a buck are going to these quacks, as yes. You're saying, which shouldn't be tolerated. In terms of public and private projects, which ones do you enjoy mostly as Gurmukh?
We try to shy away from public projects too much. We primarily focus on private projects. Private projects have their challenges. It's a lot more predictable. Sometimes public ones, although they're good, things can be drawn out, can be a bit more complicated. So we prefer the private projects personally, as a firm. That doesn't mean to say we're not going to handle public projects in the future. It's just that, we have certain processes that we are there to, and we like sticking to those.
Commercial or residential?
We do everything, to be honest. We're doing airport hangars, we're doing master plans over 1,000 acres, we're doing little shops, we're doing residentials, within East Africa as well, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. So we're doing, a very wide range of projects, different complexities, very technical projects as well.
Yes.
So I think it's, anything and everything goes. Yeah.
So, maybe our viewers are wondering, where is it more profitable for an architect to focus on, commercial or residential?
There is a glut of what I call Class B buildings. Everyone calls them Class A, but really Class B. Office spaces within the industry. Residential projects are very fulfilling from a design point of view as well. So I think it's a mix of both. It's not just commercial. You also want to design spaces that people will enjoy living in. So we do enjoy designing our residential projects as well, to be honest.
Brilliant. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we're back, more with Gurmukh. And welcome back from the commercial break. If you're just joining us, with us, we have a principal visionary architect who's telling us more about his journey in architecture and some of the things that are taking place in the industry. So, Gurmukh, why don't you tell us about your most iconic project thus far?
The one which is close to my heart would be the Microsoft Africa Development Center. As I've mentioned before, it's the first to achieve LEED Platinum, so it's the highest rated sustainable project in the continent, actually. It's the first to have electrochromic glass, which is used on the Dreamliner. It tints automatically, so it's state of the art, probably the most sophisticated fit out in the entire continent. We were the underdogs when we got the job, and it really helped us grow. A client that appreciated us, let us explore. We used, everything in our arsenal, parametric design. We really pushed the boundaries of that. Even health and safety within the spaces. It's comfortable spaces, the acoustics are well designed. The air quality is better than any ICU in this country. So, if you're working in that space, I hope it's a joy. Yeah.
Brilliant. So how does one go about getting a job such as that? What would you say is the criterion for qualifying as an architect?
The most important thing actually for this would be your principles. So as an architect, your principles in terms of your ethics and how you carry yourself, and that carries across. The industry is very small, so if you're doing things the wrong way, word gets around. If you're doing things the correct way, word gets around. We also pride ourselves with doing things to an international standard. So we're not pegging ourselves to the local standard. We're trying to see, can we compete at a global scale? Can we, do projects in Dubai? Can we do projects in Switzerland? Right? And we are targeting certain projects in this regard as well. We do projects outside Africa as well, which I can't disclose of right now. But it's, again, that kind of quality has to be consistent. So we want to give, there's no reason to go out. We have plenty of talent in Kenya. All our staff is, locally trained, and we believe in mentoring and growing local talent and developing them up. Yeah.
So Gurmukh, local and international architects who have inspired you.
Okay, so I'll start right from university.
Yes.
There were two lecturers of mine who really pushed me out of the box. I would say it's Bully Ladu and Paul Mpungu. He's a technical university, I believe, yeah. And Bully Ladu, he retired. And from a professional point of view, I would say it's Trevor Andrews. He's retired now from Planning System Services.
Okay.
So I'd say those are the key people within my professional journey and educational journey in architecture that have kind of guided me and helped shape my values and ethics and my design philosophy through and through. So I think I owe them a great deal of gratitude. And international-wise, there's Foster, Renzo Piano, Kengo Kuma. Someone like Shigeru Ban as well, who uses paper, very innovative structures. He's an architect and an engineer as well. So I really look up to kind of these kind of architects, consultants who are pushing the boundaries, not only in technology, but in integrating that with local craft and culture. Yeah.
And are you mentoring any architects?
Yeah, we do mentor quite a few. I tried getting into University of Nairobi as a lecturer, but in a different story. We do mentor quite a few students from both Jomo Kenyatta University and UON. Anyone who's willing to and who meets the criteria. We need to see someone who's pushing the boundaries. You as an individual need to push the boundaries. You can't, pitch yourself against international best practice, international standards. If you're applying to any global large firm, would you get in? That's the question you'd be asking yourself as a student. So I think that for me would be, what our take is on mentorship.
there is an impact of urbanization that's taking place. Are you seeing this affecting architecture in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I said, the fact that a lot of buildings are not being designed properly, they're being designed, a lot of shortcuts being taken, to be honest. And not just, I'm talking about all across, for example, in Nairobi. Just here in Westlands, if you're taking a drive down, Muntiti Road or whatever it is, half those buildings, if you actually go and check the firms, they're not on the Borax website, which is very sad. And this is kind of leading to a case where, you have apartments facing, walls, things are not properly designed. And that is impacting the quality of spaces for people living in urban cities, urban centers. So I believe it's important for county and as professional bodies to take ownership and kind of pursue stricter regulation for this to ensure we're getting quality spaces, we're getting good green spaces. There are a lot of residents association kind of pushing for this as well, and they're doing some good work in trying to get a good balance between this within their areas.
In terms of legacy, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
GRASP is not named after me, and there's a point behind that. I mean, we wanted to make sure that the firm carries on after me. So in a couple of years, I want my senior associates to kind of take over and develop the firm, as it progresses, and then it goes from the next generation as well. So I want it to outlast me, basically. GRASP is not me.
Who started GRASP?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not. I mean, it's something I want. Having worked at other firms, having seen what the industry is like, I wanted to make sure it's a space where any employee, there's room for growth, and they can actually see themselves kind of getting into ownership roles eventually down the line.
Okay.
So for me, that is important, leaving a legacy of good quality projects, good quality spaces, ones that the users can enjoy for 30, 40 years and beyond. That's really is a joy for us.
Amazing, amazing. Future trends in the space.
I mean, as you mentioned, there's things like AI, 3D printing. I think you have to take all of these with a grain of salt. So sometimes there's a lot of hype around them, but you really need to implement them in practical manners. So let's say if it's 3D printing, I would do it in components, not in entire buildings. Cost of it is much more expensive than anything you're doing, especially locally. Your brick and mortar locally is a lot more efficient. So it's about balance, finding out, what can we use, what materials can we use over here. I think material research will be one.
Okay.
Design is AI, got parametric design, which I'm pushing. I always push students. I tell them, 2009, are you doing parametric design? Why are you not doing it right now? Right? All these years later. So I always push students, please learn the skill sets, learn the tools. I'll help you in, achieving the results you want to achieve in your whatever you're imagining, it'll help you achieve them, basically. Right? Yeah.
One piece of advice to any architect who's watching you right now.
I think, just keep on doing things the correct way. Keep on improving your standards. Don't allow any shortcuts, and maintain your ethics and principles. I think that for me is very important. Do not entertain, any shortcuts or anything of the sort. Make sure everything is done correctly, and you'll have a fruitful career.
Super. You're usually the head of the project consortium. How do you ensure that you marry all the visions of, the community, the client, the contractors? How do you ensure you marry everybody and move in one direction?
It's as I said, architects are jugglers. So we have to juggle quite a few aspects when we're doing the designs. In regards to consultants, you want to make sure you're as good as your weakest link. So we normally vet our consultants, fellow consultants, make sure that they're okay and they're ethical as well. We have a blacklist, people who we believe are not doing things the correct way. So we work with people who are straightforward. Even with clients, if we see a client is taking shortcuts, we actually pull out of the project. So we don't entertain that from the clients either. Right. So it's important. I mean, you must maintain your principles.
Yes.
But yeah, I think if everyone's on the same page and everyone's following the correct process, it's very easy to achieve that harmony within the community, client, and consultants and everyone else. Yes.
Brilliant. Gurmukh's approach and principled approach to architecture is that serves as an inspiration to us all that we really appreciate. Now, if you want more guests to come onto the show to just demystify the real estate sector, reach out to us. This has been Property Focus. My name is Peter Ngigi, and remember, keep on dreaming.